I think it's actually funny we're talking about this topic right now with sports because Bob Law has been one of the people who talks about this topic when it comes to radio. I want to start off by saying rest in peace, Mr. Bob Law. I saw this on Carl Nelson's Facebook page. I'm Facebook friends of Carl Nelson, and so I saw this come from Carl Nelson's page. Bob Law is somebody I have to give a lot of credit to. He, along with Dick Gregory, are two people who told me so much about music. They left breadcrumbs for me to follow and do deeper research on. And when I do my research, when I talk to y'all about the history of black radio, how black radio died, when I talk to y'all about the white paper report and how they took live instrumentation from black music starting in the 80s, all of that came from listening to Bob Law interviews. I never got to meet him personally. I had a couple. We know of each other. Like I had someone trying to link us up for an interview the last few years, but it's felt he for whatever reason that never happened. I never got to interview him, and I had been on his radar since 2022, and but it just never got to happen. So that's one thing. But if you look up Bob Law, he has a lot of great interviews with Carl Nelson. Great interviews with Carl Nelson. Great interviews with different places online. And he talks about how the personality DJ was taken out of black music from radio. My history on Jocko Henderson, Frankie Crocker, and those early days of radio, earlier days of radio. The reason why I was able to draw the conclusion that New York hip hop got the rapping and DJing from radio, it was from researching Bob Law. Bob Law talked about Jocko Henderson. So after listening to the Bob Law talk about Jocko Henderson, I did my own research on Jocko Henderson and all of the different black DJs, Rufus Thomas, Georgie Woods, uh, MC Gary Bird, these were all, especially Gary Bird and Jocko Henderson. These were DJs that rapped over the break beat. They rapped over the beat when they would introduce music. But I would have never known about these people had I never heard Bob Law talk about them. Like this is Gary Bird right here. I found out about Gary Bird through him. This is Gary Bird right here. It's funny, I was just doing research this morning for my book, and I got the news right before I went live. This is what I mean by rapping DJs.
Wherever you go, but to really get together with people, you got to check out San Francisco. There's a cat there with some music that makes everybody's head gonna touch the sky, and you can really feel.
That's Gary Bird, and how he would MC and rap while he was introducing music. And you got to see, these are the roots of hip hop, not Kool Herc.
Ride from the earth to the moon.
Jocko Henderson.
Gotta go with your rocket ship commander, Jocko, back on the scene with the record machine. Correct time now, it's 4:15.
That's Jocko Henderson. And it was Bob Law that laid the breadcrumbs, because he wasn't making the claim that that hip hop rap comes from the radio. That wasn't the claim he was making. That's the conclusion that I drew based off of him talking about the rapping DJs and being an understanding anthropology and how to trace lineage. I'm like, if these were the DJs in New York in 1967, 68, 69, 70, Frankie Crocker, and rap started, okay, that's where it comes from. And this was all later confirmed by Fab Five Freddy in his interview on the Drink Champs. If you go listen to Fab Five Freddy's interview on Drink Champs, he talks about this. But as a researcher, I was able to draw that conclusion and tie that link together because of Bob Law. So he's a monumental loss to all of us researchers and just for people who care about our culture and our lineage. So take some time to find and go listen to some Bob Law interviews on YouTube. If you can find some Bob Law interviews on the Carl Nelson Show, take some time to go and find out about who Bob Law is. All right. Rest in peace to the great Bob Law. With that being said, thank y'all for joining, and let's get started.